This week, while the mainstream media was obsessing about Melania Trump using her personal email address to discuss the White House Easter egg roll, here are the things that happened that really matter. A new piece of legislation in the state of California will remove mandatory sex registry status for adults who have anal or oral sex with minors between the ages of 14 and 17 if the adult is within 10 years of age of the minor. And instead of leaving that to the discretion of the judge, the sponsor of the bill, California State Senator Scott Wiener, says this protects LGBTQ youth, but the facts beg to differ. Under the terms of this bill, a 24-year-old man could have anal sex with a 14-year-old boy. That adult man would not have to register as a sex offender despite his predatory, law-breaking behavior. But did the mainstream media report on this bill? No, the mainstream media would never dream of challenging the LGBTQ lobby. Joe Biden met with the father of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin this week. The father's name is Jacob Blake Sr., and Jacob Blake Sr. has a history of anti-Semitic Facebook posts, including anti-Semitic tropes about Jews controlling the media, controlling money, controlling the world, and derogatory comments about the Jewish people in general. But did the mainstream media report on this? No, the mainstream media did not. A pregnant mother in Australia was arrested this week for allegedly inciting a coronavirus lockdown protest because she posted about it on Facebook. After her Facebook post organizing a protest, police entered her house with a search warrant and arrested her in front of her 2 children and then seized her electronic devices. But did the mainstream media report on this egregious abuse of power by the Australian government in the name of COVID-19? No. The mainstream media did not care to mention it. The New York State Health Department has the audacity to respond to a Department of Justice request for New York's COVID-19 nursing home data by claiming they can't find the records. And they won't be able to produce the records until November 5th, 2 days after the presidential elections. Can you even imagine? Lest anybody doubt that COVID-19 is now entirely a political weapon. But did the mainstream media report on this? Nope, because that would require the mainstream media to report on New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's order forcing nursing homes to admit COVID-19 positive patients, which led to up to 11,000 nursing home deaths from COVID-19 in New York. According to a bombshell new report, up to 90% of positive COVID-19 tests should have been negative in our country. This report, believe it or not, came from the New York Times. The key is the amplification cycles of the COVID-19 PCR tests, which take genetic material on the swab sample and amplify it until a machine can identify virus DNA. But in the U.S., our PCR tests have been using 35 to 40 amplification cycles, while experts say any number of amplification cycles over 30 reveals either dead or inactive virus or such a low viral load that it's clinically insignificant because it doesn't cause symptoms and it's unlikely to be transmitted. According to this New York Times analysis, 90% of COVID PCR tests in New York, Massachusetts, and Nevada were clinically insignificant, which means they should have been negative. But did the mainstream media report on this? Well, just the New York Times, to their credit. Everybody else basically ignored it. An MSNBC host called Black RNC speakers a, quote, modern-day minstrel show, insinuating that these Black individuals who chose of their own free will to support the Republican Party and President Trump were essentially wearing blackface and weren't real Black people because they are Republican. But did the mainstream media report on how insulting, demeaning, and downright racist this comment was? No. The mainstream media was silent. The mainstream media doesn't care to report any of that to you, so we will.